What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. My name is Jorge, and today I'm going to give you guys a 1-week ownership review of my 2019 Camaro SS. Alright guys, so we are in the Camaro SS, and I've had this thing for about a week now, a little over a week, and put 350 miles on this thing, gone through 1 tank of gas, and already I can tell you guys that this car is definitely the best car that I've had, and I can't wait to tell you guys exactly why that is. So let's go ahead and take a drive and give you guys some little quirks and I guess not quirks and features, but just some little insights as to what it is like driving the car after a week, and more than just what you would normally do on a test drive. Alright guys, so the very first thing that you're gonna find out when you buy a Camaro SS is that the seat belt, you have to basically extend and reach behind to grab it, and it's a struggle every single time. Don't know why they didn't have some kind of attachment or something to hold the seat belt in place. It's not like you're gonna have people in the back anyways, but that's something that you're gonna over time really quickly find out and see, is that you have to kind of basically turn back to grab the seat belt and put it on. The second thing that I got to talk about with this car after a week is that the exhaust on this car is just perfect. I don't know if it's the dual mode has a different type of sound compared to the standard exhaust that you get on a Camaro SS, but this dual mode exhaust itself is just from the factory a beautiful sounding exhaust. I like to keep mine just on track mode the whole time. I've gone ahead and actually set it in the infotainment system to track mode at all times, no matter what driving mode I'm in. So it just sounds really great, has all the pops and burbles, and would not ever change it. That's definitely the one option I think everyone should get with their Camaro SS, and that is this awesome exhaust. So let's go ahead and go for a nice little drive, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about what else I have learned in 1 week of ownership. Just listen to that, guys, the sound, and I'm not sure if the microphone will pick it up, but the exhaust is for a stock exhaust system from the factory, it is really nice. And alright guys, so we're driving the Camaro. I've got about 350 miles on it, and in 1 week of ownership, I'm trying to be a responsible owner and not get on it or not floor it or go wide open throttle until I've gone through at least 500 miles, between 500 and 1,000 miles. And that's only because I want to make sure the engine, everything is broken in and settled in, and that I do the first oil change, because anytime you get a brand new engine, brand new material, bearings, everything's got to get seated and basically mold itself and get everything fitted nicely. And so what you want is, while it's doing that, you're gonna have little filings, little metal shavings from where its bearings are getting worn into to like sit properly for the rest of its life, and all that kind of stuff. And it's normal stuff that you would get in a break-in oil in your break-in period. Now all that stuff, I don't want to be flooring it and having that stuff get picked back up through the oil pump and then run back through my crank, you know, and all that, and cam and all that. So I haven't floored it, I haven't done any of that, and I'm just trying my hardest to get excuses to drive this car to get those 500 to 1,000 miles as quickly as I can. So guys, thing number 3, or I'm not sure what number I'm at, but is this transmission. This transmission really, I feel like it wants you to go fast. It wants you to give it more throttle. When you're just cruising it and taking off easy, going slow, you'll see the transmission shift up, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 times just as until you get to 40 miles an hour. And of course, I mean, it's part of the whole fuel economy and all that, and it doesn't bother me. You don't even really notice the shifts. It just blah 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 going. Now where you really get that this transmission really wants you to go fast is that even at just very partial throttles, 30, 40, 50% throttle, it's almost like if this transmission's got a little mind reader and it's saying, oh man, he just went 50%. We really let's hold this gear for him, because he's probably going to want to go faster. And so the transmission itself and the way the tune is set will hold your gear even when you're in drive and you just give it like 50% throttle a lot longer than normal, or it won't shift down, which is great if you really wanted to go fast. But sometimes in the streets and stuff, I give it enough gas to maybe cut in front, or because I'm about to like turn in the next exit or something like that, and it just holds the gear. And it's like, I don't want it to hold the gear at that point because I'm already slowing down, or I'm not going to go any faster. But it will hold the gears, and you kind of just feels like it's kind of engine braking slightly. So that in itself is something that could have been maybe massaged a little bit in the tuning. But other than that, I mean, when you really want to lay on it, it goes, and it's a phenomenal transmission. It shifts instantly with the paddles. That's another thing. I'm coming from a 6L80 in the G8 and the SS, the 6-speeds automatics, and those you basically had to hit the tap up the upshift 300 RPM before you wanted it to actually upshift. Whereas in this new 10-speed transmission, it's practically instantly. I mean, you have no discernible delay between when you tapped it and when the gear came in. So that is by far the best I've seen, and especially from this stock transmission. So that is something that is really cool, and I really like about this transmission. Alright guys, the next thing that I want to kind of give some insight on, and that is the blind spots in this car. And when I first was looking into these cars, everyone was saying, man, the blind spots are horrible. You're really going to want to get the blind spot monitoring, and you're not going to be able to see out the sides. And it worried me a little bit at first, but once I did the test drive, and now that I've been driving this thing for about a week, I've realized that the blind spots are not bad, guys. What I've done is I've gone ahead and set up my side mirrors to complement my rear view mirror. And so the way that once they're set up properly, you really don't get any blind spots. I mean, you definitely got to trust your mirrors, which feels very hard to do when you first have it set up in the way that you're supposed to set these mirrors up. But once you get used to it within a couple days, I mean, I'm rarely ever trying to turn my shoulder, look back and see if there's a car behind me, or turning and trying to see out the passenger little quarter window. That's where everyone always complains and says, no matter whether you turn back this way or you turn back behind your shoulders, that you're gonna have a big blind spot. And everyone says that, so it's one of those things where you just got to trust your mirrors and set them up properly to remove and eliminate all the blind spots, and you're good to go, guys. Really not that difficult, and I don't have any problems with the way that I'm driving and making sure that I'm never really concerned about hitting another car. Everything is pretty visible all the way around. So blind spot being an issue, if you set your mirrors up properly, guys, I don't think that blind spots would be any issues, and they haven't been for me. So if that's the concern that you might have when you're trying to buy a Camaro, and you're saying, man, I got to get that 2SS because of that, don't believe the hype, guys. Just go ahead and get the 1SS if that's more in your budget, or if that's really what all you want and you don't want all the other extra bells and whistles and end up having to pay $5,000 just for blind spots. That's what you wanted. It's not necessary. So alright guys, so while I'm stopped here at a light, and the car is really smooth, idling perfectly, and it's not choppy or shaky. Very, very nice. I haven't heard any squeaks, rattles, anything like that. The build quality on everything has been pretty tip top. The steering wheel feels really, really good. It's the perfect size. Paddles are a lot bigger than they have been in previous models, like my Chevy SS. So those are really nice, and they actually have a nice spring action to them. It definitely, you get a nice little click and it rebounds back, and I really, really love that. It makes it feel really nice when you're shifting with the paddles. Overall, I've just been trying to put a lot of miles on this thing because I want to get this thing to the track. I really want to get this thing to the track, but before I do that, of course, I want to do the break-in miles, and I want to make sure I do an oil change and a differential fluid change. That's been one of the things that's definitely going to be coming up, guys, so stay tuned for that. I really want to go ahead and get that done and show you guys why you want to get that done, especially on these newer GM Camaros and all that. They definitely require a little bit more maintenance on the differentials to make sure that those last a long time, especially if you plan on tracking the car or going to the drag strip a lot. So keep posted on that, and in the meantime, I gotta keep driving this thing, guys. I gotta keep driving this thing. Alright, guys, so my overall impression of this car has been that it is a great car. It handles well. The suspension is not rough, but it's not sloppy or sloshy either, especially for not having magnetic ride control. I'm sure people that have that, probably their suspension is a lot better. But even with the standard suspension, I mean, it drives great, handles great, and overall, if you want to, you could easily daily drive a car like this. I've driven it a little over 350 miles now, and I would keep driving this thing as much as I can. I don't feel any quality issues, anything besides the little hiccup I had with the radio, which I've gone ahead and I just reset everything in the radio, and it seems to be working fine now. I haven't had any issues. And usually people have this question is, man, you bought the car, but then a week into it, you're like, should I really have bought this car? Or you kind of look back and you're like, oh, did I make the right choice? And hands down, 100%, I made the right choice with this car, guys. A week into it, and I literally come home after work just looking for an excuse to get in the car and drive or go somewhere. It's really, really nice. I've driven it all weekend, and I would definitely have gone back and done it the same way that I did a week ago, because this car is amazing, and I love this 10-speed transmission, the engine, all of that, the whole package. The car is just perfect, at least for me, in my opinion, for what I want and the type of power and handling that I wanted. This car is just hands down the best for me. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts and my observations with 1 week of ownership of this Camaro SS. This 2019 Camaro with the 10-speed transmission, with the dual mode exhaust, definitely is a blast and sounds amazing, and I would definitely buy this car all over again. I can't wait to put in the rest of the miles and really be able to get on it, because man, if it's as fun as it is just partial throttle and, you know, driving around, I can't wait to feel how fun it is when you really go wide open throttle and go through those quick gear shifts. There's a bunch of transmission features and things like that I want to showcase and try out, but I need to get this break-in period done so that I can show you guys the cool, neat features of this transmission and how it'll help you become a better shifter, better racer, better everything. So stay tuned for that, guys. There's a bunch of stuff coming on with this car, and I can't wait to show you guys. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts. I'd love to hear your feedback, what you guys think. Drop comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.